Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we are going to do our normal Monday ramble, but it's going to be a little bit different this time around because Games Workshop has somewhat scaled down how much they're doing in terms of their releases, which is fair enough. There's a lot going on at the moment, as I'm sure you're aware. Not quite to the same, like, the same massive scaling back that we saw last year, where we had a whole bunch of months where we just had nothing. We're not having that. It's not that bad. But in terms of our normal glance at the previews for next week, there's not really much to look at. It's mostly Middle-earth stuff. And there's not a huge amount going on, which is fine. They've got to do what they've got to do to try and navigate round the horrendous COVID issue, which is still ongoing. Although at least now, people are having vaccines. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm hoping that this time it does not turn out to be the bright lights of an oncoming train. That would be very, very nice. Someone I know, due to where they work, has already had their first dose of the vaccine. So that tangible progress, that's just done wonders for our friend group as a whole, because it's like, oh God, it's actually happening. We know someone who's had the fabled thing to end this apparently never-ending, constantly repeating stay-at-home nonsense. That it's not nonsense, it's just what's happened. But speaking of someone who's barely left my house since March of last year, it's nice. It's nice to know that things are happening. And of course, hopefully, once all that's settled down, we'll be back to the breakneck speed of brand new plastic cracked shinies every single week, which is, let's face it, what we want, even if we know that we can't afford even half of it, because that would be ridiculous if we could. Wouldn't it be nice to have that level of disposable income? Probably not. The piles of shame would be even worse than they are now, let's face it. So today we're going to do something a little bit different, because I have a little bit of a confession to make. I've been doing Age of Sigmar stuff. Now, I know you're not massively surprised by this. If you follow me on Twitter, you will have seen any number of the stupid... in fact, you can just about see him up there, but not really. My gargants that are made out of the Ambot kit. So you stack both sets of legs on top. There's a video that I did running you through how to build one of those, which I'll link in the pinned comment. I did the pointing thing again. I've not changed that. I've been doing more sort of Age of Sigmar stuff, and I was trying to work out why. Because I still have stuff I need to paint for Warhammer 40k. I still have my Emperor's Children Obliterators, which I built in, 2019, maybe? It's quite bad. That. I painted all the knights, so I've got a full force, technically, of Slanesh-based 40k stuff. I've got 2,000 points of it, but I haven't actually finished the Obliterators. My Terminators are painted, but not based. I've got 5 HQs for my Emperor's Children, which is totally pointless, and I don't know why I've done it. It was just to convert stuff. But I realised that I'd kind of got myself into a bit of a rut. I basically did one of three things. Converting a knight, converting a dreadnought, or converting an Emperor's Children HQ slot. Which, I've got options there. I've got more than enough options. I don't need any more options, although one with a jump pack would be cool, and I don't have a sorcerer yet, technically. We'll steer clear of that. But I had realised that I was getting a bit formulaic with stuff. If I was going to convert something, generally it was going to be one of three things, and I have a pipeline now. I know exactly what I'm doing with those conversions, where I just pick up the thing and I go, okay, well, he needs a skull helmet, he needs this symbol, he needs that spike there, and I can put that. It was getting a bit, not boring, but the kind of the exploring side of it was gone. Something that I quite like about kit bashing stuff is occasionally, well, quite often, going in with a vague idea, but no real idea as to how I'm going to get to the end of what I'm planning. And I was kind of losing that with converting stuff for 40k, for kit bashing 40k stuff, because I'd kind of got myself into a rut. Now, painting-wise, I've been experimenting way more. I've been doing way more stuff for 40k painting-wise, but building has kind of fallen by the wayside a bit, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because as I say, I've got plenty to be getting on with when it comes to finally painting stuff that I kit bashed years ago. But the fact is, building is not the same as painting for me. I enjoy both. I enjoy painting way more than I used to, but building is still something that has that extra level of therapeutic to it. Painting is now a very relaxing experience, and is actually something that I enjoy doing and actively look forward to, but it's still not quite on the same level as doing a fun kit bash. And I decided to just try a few things for Age of Sigmar based off the Gargants that I made. So I made Gargants out of Ambots by stacking the legs on top of each other. They're raised a bit higher in the base with a few layers of cork just to get them up to the right height. I'll put a link to a video talking all about that in the description and in the pinned comment as well, so you can check it out. It's on the other channel, which I'm going to be doing more with this year. Off the back of that, got the Caradron Overlords box over there. I got that because I liked the idea of my ridiculous mech Gargant army from the Realm of Metal having a support fleet, so I started building the Caradron stuff. And as I was doing that, I was like, I'm doing more tech and mech stuff, aren't I? I've built dreadnoughts in Age of Sigmar is what I've done. I've built things that I could quite easily proxy as Contemptors in 40k. Maybe I should do something. Maybe I should try something a little bit different. What's a model I've always liked the look of, but not really had any idea as to what I'd do with? What about something that's completely the other end of the spectrum to what I'm used to doing? Normally, we're talking power armor. We're talking dreadnoughts / tanks, or we're talking Imperial Knights, or even in the case of the Gargant Force, it's still more mechs. It's a bit more steampunky, a bit more fantasy than, well, it's still pretty heavily sci-fi, let's be honest, but it's still similar, it's still the same kind of thing. Even the Caradron, yeah, they are dwarves, but let's face it, they're squats. Let's be real, let's be honest here, they are squats. They are squats in Age of Sigmar, they've got cool flying boats, but they're still quite technological. There's still more technology going on there than in most of the rest of the Age of Sigmar range, which is to be expected because AOS is fantasy, or for the most part. So I did something that I did the thing where I looked at a model and went, I don't know what I'd use it for, but I'm just gonna get it and mess around with it. Got the Fomeroid Stone Crusher, which I really enjoyed messing about with. Admittedly, I messed about with it a fair amount. I also got the Necrons for 40k as well, but I still can't work out how to paint those. And it's more like metal, metallic stuff, probably. Is probably how I'm going to go with that in the end. But yeah, I got the Fomeroid Stone Crusher thing, and I made that into a weird monstrosity that steals people's skulls. And I was like, okay, I like the idea, but maybe that wasn't the best model for it. Maybe something else, something that I can make a bit more creepy and a bit more weird that might fit a bit better. And then I remembered Drycha Hammerdreth. Love Drycha Hammerdreth. I think it's a really cool model. Admittedly, it is a woman in a giant tree suit, so technically I guess you could say it's like a pilotable mech, but made out of wood, which I've only just thought about. So really, I am sticking to type. But I wanted to do something that was a bit darker and a bit weirder and a bit more creepy. So I thought, well, okay, how about if I take it and make it half Sylvaneth and half undead? I'm sure people have done this before. I would be shocked if people hadn't. But I like the idea of there being a tree that people like a village, like some backwards, crappy village somewhere. To punish criminals and to keep order, they hung people from the trees in the forest that the village is in. But they hung enough people in this forest that it started to collect. There's a little bit of soul, kind of blood magic nonsense going on. And eventually the trees got fed up of having corpses hanging off them and decided to become, well, not decided to, but became kind of sentient. The amount of death that had leaked into them woke them up. And so I made a horrendous nightmare out of Drycha. And now I'm looking at that and going, actually, I would quite enjoy doing that for more stuff. I mean, there's the Spirit of Durthu. That could be quite fun to turn into something that used to have corpses hanging from it. I've already got Drycha. If you get some of the Spite Revenants from that range, you could do something similar. Have ribbed cages and skeleton parts instead of the flesh and blood bits. That would be a fun thing to do. It's just different. I think I've needed something different without knowing that I've needed something different. It's kind of pushed me to try something a little bit not what I'm used to. And in the process has given me more ideas for stuff to do in 40k to try and explore more weird kind of, I guess, more grimdark stuff. A lot of the stuff I've done has just been kind of bright and vibrant, or it's been just so far out of left field where, yes, this dreadnought does have a Skaven Warp Lightning cannon, because why not? it's kind of pushing me to try and do something just that much darker and more odd for 40k. So my little kind of side journey into Age of Sigmar has been weirdly beneficial because it's given me a bunch of ideas for what I'd previously kind of got myself into a rut when it came to kit bashing. Of course, this just means now that I've got even more stuff to put together and to paint. I've still got most of that box. I really want to get this like undead Sylvaneth thing like into a usable force because I'm really enjoying that. I still need to make a Mega Gargant to go with the 6 normal Gargants. Need to finish building my 3rd Dreadnought for my Rift Guard Space Marines. Still need to paint all of those. It's all the Dark Imperium stuff, which I've added a bunch of extra stuff to, which is sat there. Need to paint all of that. Really, I've got my work cut out for 2021, but my little swing into AOS has done wonders for the ideas that I've had for actually going and finishing off a lot of the stuff that I should have finished for 40k. What I want to know, however, off the back of that, is if you've decided to take that kind of left turn as well. Have any of you kind of just looked at what you've been doing and gone, I'm in a pattern and I need to break it, and you've just gone in completely the opposite direction? Or do you just push through and finish what you were doing? Is there like a way that you get out of that kind of rut? And if so, share what it is in the comments down below, because I know there'll be people who will have had that exact same experience of kind of feeling that they're just doing the same thing over and over and feeling like they need to freshen things up, but not being entirely sure how. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Now, we will actually take a look at what we have for today's preview. It is the Monday Ramble, so as we can see, Middle-earth Classics return. Given everything that's going on in the world right now, missing word there. It's no secret that our release schedule has faced a lot of disruption, but the good news is we've still got loads of awesome models. So as they say, no new pre-orders on Saturday, but there are some classic Middle-earth models returning for a very limited time. What's more, our Warhammer preview online, The Dead and the Divine, includes oodles of reveals that you won't want to miss. So, what have we actually got? On Saturday, we've got a bunch of Middle-earth models. Oh, gutting. Just straight away. Poor old Scene Bean. It gets done dirty in like every film he's in, he dies. He must be the most killed actor of all time at this point, surely. To be honest, most of these have held up pretty well. They've held up pretty well. The detail of the hobbits being captured by the orcs is nice. I do like that. Not orcs, not technically orcs. These weren't the orcs, these were the Yorakai, wasn't it? Close enough, you know what I mean. Yeah, they're still looking decent. There's a lot of stuff being re-released, actually. Ooh, that... face has maybe not aged all that well. Neither has the dual sword pose there either, actually. For the most part, though, they still look pretty decent. It still bugs me. Every time I see a bow with no string, it bugs me that the Lumineth Realm Lords have got bows with 3 strings, but every other bow's got no strings. I don't know why it bugs me, but it does. That's actually held up pretty decently. Some good cloth work there. Yeah. So I mean, this is what you've got. This is what you've got for your Saturday stuff. It's old stuff making a return. Still a quality model. Still looks really good, that one. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what we've got. I just thought I would run you through quickly because that is the core foundation of the Monday Ramble, even if today's is totally different. So yeah, there's no pre-order window on the miniatures, but they are strictly limited, so be quick. And if you have not yet grabbed your Death Guard stuff, if you'd forgotten that the Death Guard stuff was happening, well, it's right here. You've got the new Codex, you've got the new Combat Patrol, you've got the Miasmic Malignifier and the Lord of Virulence. And I believe the boxes of Poxwalkers as well, which if you wanted to, you could use my affiliate link for it if you wanted. Just saying, just throwing it out there. And this is the Twitch schedule that they've got for Warhammer Live, which again, I really do recommend watching these. They're good. The Hangout and Hobby is genuinely quite helpful sometimes. If you just want some nice background chatter that is all about the hobby, you know, questions asked and answered and stuff, then yeah, it's worth a watch for sure. And then yeah, there's the Dead and the Divine on Saturday. Be interesting to take a look at that. That's a full-on, like, The Walking Dead style font for Dead, right? It's not just me. It's not just me, is it? I'm sure that's at least similar. Anyway, so that does it for the previews. There's not a huge amount, but then again, that's just how things are at the moment. The Monday Rambles will probably be 50-50 between the actual previews that we get and just having a chat, because I like talking to you guys. It's fun. So yeah, let me know if there's anything in there that you are looking forward to. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. There is an affiliate link in the description for Element Games which you can use to support the channel. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.